Hey everyone, it's Kylie. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hi, I'm Kylie. I'm an American living in Portugal since 2022. I make videos about life, finance, and business here in Portugal as an expat. If you do enjoy this video, please be sure to watch it until the end and then like it so I know you're enjoying this type of content, and I will continue to make more of it in the future. In today's video, I'm covering why younger Americans, specifically those in the Millennial and Gen Z categories, are choosing to pick up their lives in the United States and move to places like Portugal, either temporarily or for good. Now, there are the obvious reasons, such as wanting to experience a new culture or live in a more beautiful place, but I want to get into some of the more contentious topics today. Also, of course, many of the points that I make in today's video are going to apply to people of other generations and nationalities. However, I personally wanted to cover the Millennial and Gen Z categories specifically because I am a member of Gen Z myself, and having met at this point probably hundreds of expats who are of similar age to me, I think the reasons, having spoken with them, for why they are choosing to move abroad are quite unique and perhaps things that many people haven't thought of before. If you are interested in knowing where I'm getting these ideas from or how I've come to certain conclusions in this video, please be sure to read the full disclaimer in the description of this video. Finally, if you're interested in knowing the reasons why I chose to move to Portugal from the United States, stay tuned until the end of the video to find out. All right, now with that said, let's go ahead and get into it. First, foremost, and probably the most common reason why I see so many younger Americans moving to Portugal is because of the cost of living in the United States. They're choosing to move to places like Portugal, like Mexico, like Italy, where overall the cost of living is much lower and they can still maintain their income, their United States level income. So ultimately, they end up saving a ton of money from moving abroad. Now, I'm not going to waste time digging super deep into this particular topic because I don't think it takes a genius to know that the cost of living in the United States has increased significantly in recent years, and it's affected everyone. For Millennials and Gen Z, the cost of living has been uniquely challenging when you consider the cost of education and the recent waves of layoffs. First, the one during COVID-19, the second one coming in late 2022, and now another one in early 2023. Okay, moving on to number 2. Young Americans are doing what I am going to call losing loyalty to the United States. Now, take a second to listen to this statistic because it initially really shocked me, but at the same time, it didn't shock me at all. According to a 2023 poll, only 36% of millennials and 16% of Gen Z say they are proud to live in the United States. This is compared to 54% of Gen X and 73% of baby boomers. So what explains this statistic? First of all, I think that anybody watching this video can come up with reasons as to why any American might say they aren't proud to call the United States home. But what explains the divide in generational opinion, and why might this divide create an influx of younger Americans wanting to go and move abroad? While I haven't found any data or research that answers that question specifically, I do have a theory of my own, and it's this thing right here. Unlike other generations, Millennials and Gen Z have literally grown up with these phones in their hands. And because of this, we've been exposed to news and headlines literally all day, every day for basically our entire lives. And you already know that 95% of news and headlines is usually very negative. When you're constantly 24/7 being bombarded with a lot of this negative messaging, it can really impact your outlook on the world, including that of your own country. Now, this isn't to say that previous generations haven't gone through their fair share of bad news. However, previous generations, let's say if they wanted to get updates on what's happening with the war in Vietnam, they would have to wait until primetime news every evening to get updates or go and pick up a local newspaper. And that's different than what younger generations are experiencing when they have this news being blasted at them all times of the day, every day. With a generally more negative outlook on the United States, younger Americans are simply losing loyalty to the country, and the less loyalty they have, the easier it is to just pick up their stuff and go to another country. Ultimately, they're choosing to trade the problems of the United States for those of another country like Portugal. Third, and this point is connected to the one I just made, A higher level of younger Americans are experiencing the burnout phenomena beginning at earlier and earlier ages. According to Dr. Jean Siegel, burnout is a state of emotional, physical, and mental exhaustion caused by excessive and prolonged stress. That brings us to stress. Why are younger Americans feeling such prolonged states of stress, especially when it comes to the millennials? According to a 2020 study by Deloitte, now this is pre-pandemic, 44% of millennials said they were stressed either most of the time or all of the time. Now, here are a few possible explanations for that prolonged stress according to that same article. First of all, millennials were impressionable children and teens on 9/11 and the start of the longest war in US history, the war in Afghanistan. Many millennials were either teenagers or going into college or graduating college amidst the 2008 financial disaster. And many millennials are becoming parents in an age of new terroristic events like school shootings. So for some millennials, perhaps they see moving to a place with a different kind of lifestyle, different than that of the US, as a way to release some of that prolonged stress and therefore avoid burnout. All right, third, the concept of retirement looks very different for Gen Z and millennials than it does for Gen X and baby boomers and other generations. When I say that, I mean that the idea of getting a job out of college at 22, 23, entering a traditional work environment, and then retiring when you're 65, that model isn't the model that younger Americans are gravitating towards so much these days. Instead of that model of retiring at around age 65, they're opting for a model which they're going to be working in one way or another for the entirety of their life. Now, you might be thinking, what does retirement have to do with moving to Portugal or somewhere else abroad? Well, when you don't have this goal in mind of, I need to go to work and save money so that I don't have to go to work someday, then you have less to lose by moving abroad. I'm not saying that younger Americans aren't concerned with saving. What I am saying is that when you don't have this goalpost in your mind of a traditional retirement model, you feel like you have less to lose by picking up and moving abroad. It's easier for you to go ahead and take risks. Okay, fifth and finally, this is one I think might surprise some of you, but it's a response that I've heard from many expats who I've met here in Portugal and other places around the world. And that is, there is a decreasing desire amongst younger Americans to have children. In fact, in a 2021 study, 44% of non-parent Americans between the ages of 18 and 49 said they were either not too likely or not likely at all to have children someday. Now, obviously, when you don't have children or you're never planning on having them in the future, it makes the decision to pick up and move abroad much simpler. Just like how not having this mental goalpost of traditional retirement in your mind all the time makes moving abroad feel less risky, so does not wanting children in the future. Now, in this part of the video, I'm going to be sharing why I, as a member of Gen Z, chose to move to Portugal in the fall of 2022. First, given the cost of living in the United States, plus the taxes I found myself paying, moving to Portugal was just a financially responsible decision. After living here for a couple of years, I believe I will ultimately be saving tens of thousands of dollars that I wouldn't be able to save if I was still living in the United States. Having that extra cash in my 20s in my savings could really impact my life in the future for years to come. Second, the lifestyle in Portugal is the life for me. I really can't think of a place on earth where I would actually enjoy the lifestyle more. Everything I like doing here, hiking, biking, walking, swimming, going to the beach, visiting little towns, going to local restaurants and not paying an arm and a leg for my food. Those are the things that I really, really enjoy doing, and Portugal makes accessing those things so easy for me. Not only am I saving more money than ever, I'm also just happier on a day-to-day basis living here. Third, moving and living to Portugal gives me an opportunity to learn new skills that I can use to grow both personally and professionally. On a personal level, I'm learning how to adapt to new culture, I'm learning a new language, and I'm learning just how to be overall more flexible in life. On a professional level, obviously I wouldn't have this YouTube channel if I wasn't living here in Portugal, and having this channel is an outlet for me to learn new skills that I can go ahead and put back into my businesses. So overall, although Portugal certainly isn't a perfect place, it is the place for me right now at this point in my life, and I'm very grateful that I'm able to call this place home. All right, now that about does it for this video. Please be sure to check the description box for disclaimers. If you're still here, please be sure to like the video so that I know that you enjoyed it. And like I said, I will continue to make more of this content in the future. Finally, thank you all so much for watching. I'm super excited to make more content and see you all soon. Bye.